Okay, Dave, let's take a look at your swing from a couple of views. We've got the down the line view on the right and the face-on view on the left. So first thing I want to look at over on the right, you tend to line up with your feet a little closed, pointed to the right. Other than that, your legs and your shoulders look pretty good. Everything though looks like you tend to aim a little to the right, if anything. I'm just going to draw a line up the club shaft. That's just the angle of the golf club, and think of that as the plane angle. Okay, we want to stay pretty close to that angle during the swing. You won't swing right on that line at the top of your swing, but you should be fairly parallel to it. Over here on the left, the only thing we're going to look at, a couple things, we're going to check out what your hips are doing. See how much head movement we may or may not have. And if we look at your grip, it's a little bit of a strong grip with what I think is the club face being a little bit closed at address. So that would promote more of a right to left shot. Your ball position tends to be a little bit back in your stance, under your right eye. And that can also promote a little bit of a hook. I like to see the ball probably right there, so it's more just forward of center in your stance. So here we go. You're pretty quiet with your lower body. Most of the movement is in your upper body. Obviously you move back to your right side pretty well, and then right here it starts to look like, right here looks pretty good, and right here looks like you just lift your arms and your right elbow up. So at that part of the swing, as you near the top, your right elbow is going to point pretty high to the sky. So at this point in the swing, the club face is a little bit closed. It's closed right there, kind of in a shut or closed position. Stays closed up throughout the backswing. It's closed right there. And there's your lift. So now that golf club kind of crosses right through the back of your head, and your right arm is more or less parallel to the ground right there. So what that means is that right elbow is going to have to kind of get back down in here pretty quickly to get you back on plane. And it's trying to. It's starting to work its way back in there. Now that club's starting to drop in. And right about here, you get the golf club on a pretty good angle. You can see how the handle's kind of pointed at the ball. It's almost like if you were playing baseball and you just pointed the handle of the bat, you know, at the ball that was being pitched to you. Slightly closed club face here. So now what's going to happen here, it's all going to depend on how you release the club with your wrist, because your hands are pretty far away from your body there. And so at impact, you're going to come in pretty high. So that shaft angle is quite a bit higher than it was at address. You can see. And that's going to lead to some inconsistencies. You'll also see how your spine angle is going to change quite a bit this way. So really, to get better, we need to just kind of limit the amount of change between your address position and your impact position, because when you change your body angles and your club angles, you change the club face angles, and that of course determines where the ball is going to go. So it looks like you come over the top a little bit here with your downswing, and then you just kind of wait on it. And then you do a pretty good job of hitting this one with a little bit of a draw. Over here, as your right elbow starts working back in position, now you look pretty good right there with your right elbow right on your rib cage. And so from here, the front view, you can't tell the plane of the swing, but overall, you know, it looks pretty good. Nice weight shift. You can see your hips move forward nicely. Your weight transfers to your left foot very well. Your left wrist is really flat right there, which is a hallmark of all good ball strikers. So I could see you having some hot rounds, you know. I know you had a 66, and I'm sure you had plenty of rounds in the 70s. And then sometimes your timing's a little off and things get a little crazy. So this is what we did. I didn't talk to you much about your posture, but eventually we're going to sharpen up your posture because you're sitting back on your heels a little right here. We want to get your weight a little bit more in the middle of your feet. But all we did here was just hit a couple little punch shots where you feel like you only go back to where your left arm's like parallel to the ground or just past that, right? So that's kind of a half or three-quarter backswing. And then come down, and you're going to see at that point in your swing, your golf club is in much better position. It's closer to your original plane angle, and your hands are closer to your body. You can see how that club is coming down below your head or below your neck or right through your shoulder here, which is much more on plane. When your hands are closer to your body at impact and you're more in your posture angles, you're going to stabilize that club face through impact and just hit nice little straight shots. So that club's just working on an arc around your body very simply, like that. The closer you can keep your arms to that original angle and your hands, the less you're going to flip it with your hands. Because your hands would be closer to the plane line, this whole golf club will end up being a little bit more on the inside. When it's more on the inside, it's way easier to hit those little tiny draws. So I'll give you a quick example just with Sergio Garcia here. When those arms are close to the body and the butt's kind of sticking back like that, you can get the handle right on that plane line, you see. And when you do that, there's not much flip at all with the club face, and it's easy to hit straight balls or little tiny draws. So we may never get it that far on the inside, but we can get it close. You're getting closer right there. So the closer we can get to that, the more consistent you're going to be, and your scores are going to keep going down. So good work, and we'll continue from there next time I see you.